Bingo Airsoft Designs, designed to dominate.
Hi, this is Rudy from Bingo Airsoft Designs, and I'm going to show you how to service and maintain the feed mechanism that's in the Advanced System 5. The tools that you'll need are a 2.5 millimeter hex key and a 1.5 millimeter hex key, and it'll help to have a business card handy. So here's a business card, and I'll show you why that's going to be useful in a second. So basically, we're going to get access to the feed mechanism by removing this one screw that's right here on the back. You can actually screw that in with a standard screwdriver. I tend to leave it loose, which makes it really easy to remove if you need to. It'll hold in place just by friction fit. But you take this little nylon screw out, and this stock plate slides right off, which gives you access to the feed mechanism. Okay, once you start extracting the feed mechanism out the back of the gun, here's the motor that powers the feed mechanism. You'll see that it's still attached by a spring. And what I tend to do is I'll get this business card and I'll insert it into the spring. You feed the spring right here down into the middle of the feed mechanism, put that in there, and now you can actually just hold the spring and pull this right off the feed mechanism. With this card in place, just like that, it keeps the spring from going back into the gun. If the spring goes back into the gun, it's actually easy to access, but you have to take out the engine, and I'm going to show that when you go after the hop-up. But with this card there, hold your spring nicely in place. You can now get actually access to the feed mechanism here if this needs to be replaced, if you've got debris, or if the spring inside here has an issue. This is probably a vulnerable part because it is basically like a high cap feed spring mechanism. So any dirt or debris that gets down in here could jam this up, and you may have to open this up and actually clean that out. So be careful when you fill the gun with BBs that you don't pour dirt in there along with the BBs, and try to keep that clean. Alright, so let's go ahead and put this back into place. You can just grab the spring. It's actually pretty stretchy. I wouldn't take it too far out the back of the gun though. And you just press fit it right back into the feed mechanism. Now you take the motor, let's try to do this holding it in this orientation, and this slides just right into place. Right here at the bottom. This goes, there it goes, right into the groove. You take this motor, you put the motor right into the top of that, and then it goes right into a slot at the top and fits right in place. Again, it just goes right inside there. Take your back stock plate, slide that in place, put the pin, keeps the stock plate from falling off, and you're good to go. Now let's go ahead and show you how to service the hop-up feed unit, which is inside the gun. I'm going to take out the engine and show you how to get access to that if you need to ever do any service or maintenance on that. Again, it's pretty easy to remove the engine. I'm going to take off the lower from the upper. I'm going to remove the airline connector. I'm going to disconnect the wire harness here, and then disconnect it from the solenoid, and disconnect the trigger mechanism. That's this 3-wire connector here. Using a 2.5 millimeter hex key, I just remove these 2 screws. And the engine comes right out. There you go. Now at this point you can actually get access to the hop-up block. This is the hop-up block right up here in the front, hop-up feed block. This little mechanism which attaches to the other side of the spring. Now this spring is locked in place into this hop-up block by a little tiny set screw right here on the left-hand side. You can use a 1.5 millimeter hex key to loosen this set screw, and this hop-up block removes right from the spring. If you ever need to replace the spring, replacement springs are available on our website. But here's the hop-up block, the spring. To reassemble it, just put this all the way into the hop-up block, and then you want to tighten the set screw, but you just tighten it until you feel a little bit of resistance. Don't go too far. If you tighten that too much, it'll go into the spring and actually block the BBs from feeding. Just when you feel resistance, that's all. It should be good enough, and you'll notice it actually won't pull out. Alright, and then this fits right back into the slot here, and you're good to go. You'll also notice though on this hop-up block that there's this yellow pin right here, which is the BB feed lock. This keeps BBs from ejecting out of the system when you remove the upper from the lower. And if that ever needs to be serviced, There's a set screw right here on the back that gives you access to this spring and lets you pull out that pin, but you should never have a problem with that. I just wanted you to be aware of how this is put together. Pop-up block slides right into place. Good to go. You can then reinstall your engine, and those are all the aspects that allow you to service the AS5 feed mechanism.